what he's going to do is he's going to use Anti-Magic Shell to nerf the damage from the Farseer and from Stomp, Chain Lightning and from Stomp. And then he's going to actually save, he's also going to use, I think he's only got one Banshee out right now, but that's going to be pretty helpful. Curse has a very, very short cooldown. In fact, it may have none at all. So he quickly curses his opponent's army. This Red Drake that he summoned is really going to help him a heck of a lot. That he got from that big red creep, so that's another reason to go creep that camp as undead, is that you can get some really slick items out of it. What he's using with the Red Drake, which does piercing damage, is he's focusing down all the Kodo beasts with it, which is going to save him a lot of trouble. He actually got pretty lucky with the town portal position. The Kodos weren't really in a good spot to devour his fiends. In fact, they have only started to do that just now. A couple of Kodos managed to grab his fiends. But he's already killed, I think, 3 Kodo beasts just with the focus damage from that red dragon. So that is a very nice item, and it has helped a lot for Sweet. Another thing to notice is that Sweet brought his ghouls along for this fight. That is actually one of the ways that Undead can kind of make up for the fact that they're going to be a little bit out-resourced at this point of the game, because it is fairly likely that the Orc is going to be able to get an expansion up at Tier 2, because, as we all know, Orc is way the heck more powerful than Undead at Tier 2. What he did was he brought his ghouls with him. If you consider the way things work, even though Lyn had about like a little over 60 supply going to this battle, and Sweet had a little bit under, a larger portion of Lyn's army, in terms of like his supply count, was actually just his, what it would have actually just been his peasants, or peons, excuse me. And those aren't convertible into a fighting force like ghouls are. Another reason that it's a good idea to bring your ghouls along when you're going for a fight with an undead is because they deal normal damage, and a large part of his army is going to consist of raiders, and raiders die really, really fast to normal damage because they have medium armor. Basically, all this amounted to is that Sweet was able to take out his opponent's expansion. That's really thanks to the curse from the Banshees. Also, the beetle summons from the Crypt Lord are very helpful in creating basically a big frontline messy blockade. Those made it harder for the Kodo beasts to get around and eat his fiends. Impale also makes it harder for the Kodo beasts to get around and eat his fiends. One thing Sweet didn't do that I think he should have in that battle, even though he won it anyway, but I think he had enough money to grab a mana potion for his Crypt Lord. I really like to get mana potions on my Crypt Lord, especially if I'm still running the beetles along with the fiends at the same time. Lyn, this is about as early as an Orc player that goes double bestiary is going to get Spirit Walkers out. If they go double bestiary, he's probably not really going to have time to beat down your Tier 2 push. These guys just get into a base destruction war here at this point. It's pretty fun to watch. Really, whenever you're doing this, it's pretty safe to say you're rolling the dice. Sweet lost his main, so he's not going to be able to town portal back. But if he manages to totally interrupt Lyn's gold production and kill off most of his peons, he's hoping that he's going to have time to walk back to his base and save the remaining buildings before the Orc army takes all of them down. The towers have also done a number on Lyn's army. So, really, he's actually, unlike the normal Orc, he's going to be doing fairly slow damage to the undead buildings. Beetles end up being pretty nice in the later part of the game, so essentially production has been shut down for both players at this point. There was still one Spirit Walker alive that is, I think, actually going to manage, or excuse me, 2 Spirit Walkers alive. If this game were to go on for much longer, as you can see from the bar, it's not going to. It would be very likely that Lin would get to a point where he'd no longer be able to produce any more Spirit Walkers, possibly because neither opponents were producing much of anything. In a situation like that, you will be glad that you didn't completely retrain. You didn't buy a Tome of Retraining and get rid of your beetles entirely, because then you actually have the ability to create a little army to carry around with you that you normally wouldn't have. They end up being good for helping you take down buildings later in the game when all production has been shut down. They're also excellent for scouting, and they're just a nice little bag of tricks to have along with you. One thing I forgot to mention early on in the action is that whenever you're creeping your Crypt Lord and you're getting fairly close to level 3, like you have like 1 or 2 more camps to go, what you want to do is turn the autocast off for your beetles, because you actually want some of your little beetles to go ahead and die so that you'll be able to summon the level 2 beetles once level 3 pops out. Game just ended. It was pretty fun little one. I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I did. Okay, as I was saying about the beetles, yeah, you want to turn your level 1 beetles off when you're about to get your Crypt Lord to level 3. That way you'll save up mana and you'll be able to pop out like a pretty full army of level 2 beetles right when you get them, because as we all know, they are very powerful. Post-game analysis. I got pretty universal feedback that you guys would like me to keep these short or non-existent. I'm going to opt for a short one. Use Crypt Lord against Orc. It's a very nice and at least slightly uncookie-cutter strategy. You want to pick some kind of creeping rubric, a set of creep camps, where you'll get him to level 3 as quickly as possible. When tier 2, once you get him to level 3, you can spend a little bit of time kind of scouting for where your opponent is expanding, because it's almost guaranteed that an Orc player will try to expand. If he doesn't, it's actually pretty safe to say he's making a mistake. Most people consider that Orc can't fight very well against undead unless they get an expansion rolling. Sweet style is to get some Banshees out, use them for curse, and also for a little bit of anti-magic shield to keep the chain stomp from doing too much damage to his army. You can also go straight to destroyers. That really works just fine, because a lot of the time you'll see your opponent going for Spirit Walkers, and the destroyers can actually screw the Spirit Walkers up pretty bad, whereas all you have to do to prevent the Spirit Walkers from messing you up is turn off your beetles and start using Impale instead. You have a little while to wait. You don't necessarily need to try hard to cancel the Orc's expansion while he's building it, because the Orc player army is going to be a lot stronger than yours at his point. For anybody that has tried to throw a group of 5 fiends and maybe a statue or 2 at raiders and grunts, you know that you're going to get your ass kicked. So you have no choice to play passively at that point, but take comfort in the fact that the Orc expansion takes a while to build, and as long as you hit it before it's been up for long, you should be able to do okay. So that way you can wait until you get tier 3 and get a little bit more out to assist you dealing with that nasty Grunt Raider combo. That's really about all for that one. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I actually do read all of the comments that people leave in the thread about the that's kind of attached to the audio, so please keep leaving them. I've been enjoying reading them. I read those for about a week. If you want to comment on an audio that's like more than a week old, like I've noticed that like they usually get a lot of comments in the first couple of days, and then absolutely nobody talks in that little part of it anymore. So if you want to talk to me about like an older audio, chances are I'm not going to see it if you post it in the comment section of the audio. Go ahead and either PM me or post it in my staff profile in the staff profiles forum, which actually needs a little bit of love. I even tried starting a flame war in there, asking people what their favorite Final Fantasy game is, which usually gets people at each other's throats pretty fast. But yeah, you can go post in there and have some fun. Don't get yourself banned on account of me or flaming anybody or anything like that. But let's see. Some of the stuff I've actually been kind of playing around with new strategies on ladder. I've gotten a little tired of, just doing the same old stuff. And since I haven't had time to practice a lot, my micro, I guess, isn't necessarily what it used to be. Been playing some silly stuff like going Lich and Ghouls against Orc on small maps, which actually works better than you think it might, because what I try to do is just get my Lich to level 3 as fast as possible, and then Nova plus Ghouls, level 2 Nova plus Ghouls, actually is very powerful against Orc at tier 2, and I often end up getting to cancel their expansion and kind of kill half their army at the same time. Chances are that wouldn't really hold up against a very good player, but hell, I've been having fun with it. I also saw somebody went Lich Fiends against me in an Undead Mirror. I was actually going Crypt Lord Fiends. I figured he was going to be weak in the creeping department, so I decided to go ahead and just try to creep jack him, and hope to maybe find like a fiend that was low on health, or get to miss up his Lich or something. It didn't work, and the guy actually beat me. So there may be actually some validity to that strategy, just because the Lich, if you can get him to level 3 pretty quickly, he is incredibly strong, both against Orc and against Undead. Not so much against Night Elf, and I have no freaking clue against Human. But that's a little bit about what's been going on for me. I think that's about all I have to say for this one, so I'm going to go ahead and sign out. Hope you've enjoyed this audio.